Harold Pinto once said, NATO is itself a war criminal. Hi and welcome to TFI Global Latin America, TFI Global's channel dedicated to the America in the Americas. I'm your host Akanksha. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. And if you're watching us on Facebook, do like, share and follow the page. Let us begin with the video report. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO was created to secure peace in Europe. However, its imperialistic motives have not been hidden for long. Today, it creates more crises across the world than peace and has become a coup machine. Yes, a coup machine. When you think of NATO, what places do you think it adheres to control over? Europe, right? But Europe isn't all. This report will surprise you, as it shows how NATO has started interfering in countries and regions where it has no businesses and continues to do so. The Atlantic Council AC was created in 1961 as part of the NATO-linked Atlantic Treaty Association. This association functions as a network in the Euro-Atlantic region and beyond, claiming to bring together people from the fields of politics, academia, the military, journalism, and the diplomacy to support the principles of NATO. Recently, the Atlantic Council offered to help Brazil with disinformation. In July 2022, before the Brazilian elections, it met with a variety of key experts from civil society organizations, the public and private sectors, academia, the press, and others. The purpose was to discuss how to help Brazilian democracy against disinformation. However, the Atlantic Council's leading voices have been accused of using disinformation to create perfect ground to topple governments in Latin America, including Brazil. Yes, Latin America. The Atlantic Council boasts a roster of prominent members including Henry Kissinger, past CIA directors Mike Hayden and Mike Morrell, retired Homeland Security head Michael Chertoff, and Richard Edelman, CEO of the world's biggest PR firm. The Atlantic Council has provided a platform and advanced the cause of the controversial anti-corruption initiative Lava Jato, which caused a severe economic crisis in Brazil and ultimately led to the ouster of the Rousseff government in 2016. It also resulted in the imprisonment of President Lula da Silva for 580 days and effectively kept him out of the 2018 Brazilian elections, paving the way for Jair Bolsonaro. The organization claims to be separate from both the United States government and NATO, but the bulk of its funding comes from a variety of NATO countries. Its donation of money received from the US State Department to Venezuelan opposition groups is widely documented, and its motive has been to remove Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The Adrian Arsht Center, which is part of the Atlantic Council, was established in October 2013 with a vision of strengthening the trends, transforming Latin America into a strong Western partner. This move was precipitated by the political unrest in Brazil at the time and was reinforced by a $25 million donation from Adrian Arsht last year, intended to influence the regional election in Brazil and Colombia. Peter Schechter established the center, and his DC-based consultancy guides government officials, business, charities, and global entities. Their projects have ranged from defending US banks in Latin America from additional regulations to promoting Hunt Oil's Camisea project in Peru in the face of opposition from indigenous populations. A great deal of his efforts went into advising right-wing and free market candidates in Latin America, some of whom have been presidents. These clients included Henrique Capriles of Venezuela, Alvaro Uribe of Colombia, and the Brazilian president from 1994 to 2002, Fernando Henrique Cardoso. In the summer of 2009, Schechter's company entered into an agreement with Roberto Micheletti's administration in Honduras after the military overthrow of the government. The Atlantic Council actively promoted the neoliberal policies of Brazil's Michel Temer post-coup government in 2016. It also supported the Lava Jato case, which led to Dilma Rousseff's impeachment. Rousseff's impeachment, exacerbated by the economic effects it had created, resulted in a loss of 500,000 jobs and 2.5% of GDP leading to the worst economic crisis in a century. The Atlantic Council staff denied a coup was taking place in Brazil when Dilma Rousseff was impeached in April 2016, instead claiming that the crime was the postment of neoliberal reforms. In a September article, Andrea Mota declared that Rousseff's impeachment would ultimately benefit Brazilian democracy. Later, the Atlantic Council also held an event celebrating the cut-price sale of Brazil's fossil fuel resources by the illegitimate Temer government. Operation Lava Jato had a significant impact on Brazil's economy, democracy, and strategic resources. It enabled a US competitor, Boeing, to attempt to take over Brazilian company Embraer, which was met with outrage from Brazilian developmentalism and nationalists. In 2017, the US Department of Justice admitted to collaborating informally with the Operation Lava Jato task force in a clear violation of Brazilian law. NATO has established a presence in Latin America through the Atlantic Council, which serves as its propaganda arm. This presence is made up of several US military presences in Argentina, Paraguay, Peru, Brazil's Amazon, and Northeast. Therefore, organizations like Atlantic Council have been using public relations to influence the political climate in Latin America. They are partnered with the Americas Society or Council of the Americas and the Wilson Center. Their collaboration resulted in the reversal of the pink tide of leftist governments last time. The new pink tide should be cautious of the functioning of NATO's Atlantic Council given the power it holds. While the organization may claim to be devoted to promoting stability, its track record shows that it is often willing to intervene in the region's politics to advance US interests. As such, it is important to be aware of the Council's activities in the region and to hold it accountable for its actions.